Hi there, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on NewsWest 9. In just a couple of weeks, there will be a special election to decide who will fill the vacant Midland City Council at-large seat formerly held by late City Councilman Dan Corrales. The special election will take place on May 4th, but early voting will start up on April 22nd. That'll go through April 26th, and then again on the 29th and April 30th. There will be 5 candidates running for that position, and we are now joined by one of them, Mr. Ben Roberts. He is a resident of Midland, living here since 1991, a graduate of Midland Lee back in 1998, and a Midland College alumni. He says he wants to serve the community with decency, transparency, and accountability. And Mr. Roberts, would you like to introduce yourself here as we start?
Yes, sir. My name is Ben Roberts, and I'm running for City Council. Moved here to Midland when I was in 5th grade in the middle of the year. My dad brought me out here because of the oil field, and I became a Christian about 20 years ago, and that's where I work right now, is at the church. I've been employed there since 2018. I was a deacon before that. I do the finances there at the church, so I just felt like it was the right time to run for City Council.
Yeah, so let's get right into it there. What motivated you to decide to run for this position and be a part of council?
So I was wanting to run back in 2022 because there were a couple of council people that were doing some funny thing with the COVID. And then there was another council person that ran and won, and so I postponed that largely because I had kids still in the house and things like that. And I was actually thinking about joining in November when the at-large seat came for a position, and with the passing of Mr. Corrales, I was like, well, now's the time to do it, so we'll throw our hat in the ring.
And what is one quality that you think separates you from maybe the other 4 candidates that are now running for this position?
I've been in church long enough to know what those values bring to my life, and I'm trying to bring those to the city as well. And so things like honesty, integrity, and just being a good steward over taxpayers' money, I think we've missed that a little bit in the last few years. And so I'm hoping to turn that around.
I mean, you just kind of touched on it, but what are some key issues that you consider the most pressing that the city needs to address? And if you should win the position, kind of the things that you're looking to take on right away?
So there's a couple of big things that are going on right now. One being the firefighters' retirement fund, that's missing money or it was badly managed. And they're talking about doing a bond to fix that. I don't think that's the right way to go. I don't necessarily like debt and those type of things. But if we can fix the bond issue with the money that we currently have, I'm all for that to make sure our firefighters are taken care of. But I don't think we should go into debt for future generations for that kind of thing. Also, the police shortage is kind of tricky. There's a police shortage everywhere in the nation, so I don't know exactly what that looks like to fix it, but we do need quite a bit more police officers.
Absolutely, and law and order is important. But you being a longtime Midland resident, how important is it to know that a candidate has a lot of time spent in Midland, being from the city, and just kind of what that does for you, knowing that you are a Midland Lee graduate, you went to Midland College, and kind of the importance factor behind that?
It's very important. Midland's always been a good community to live in. I've really enjoyed all my time that I've been here. Hadn't really wanted to move away or anything like that, and so. With the oil field coming in and out, sometimes it's gotten harder over the past 10 years or so. It feels less like a community than it used to, but it is important that the people are invested inside their community.
And we hear the word accountability. Why do you believe that's so important for City Council and for yourself as a candidate? And just talk a little bit about what accountability means to you personally and just the council as a whole.
Yes, sir. So earlier I mentioned that we need to be good stewards over what we are and over what we're put over. And it seems like sometimes the city council just approves things. Like they don't hardly ever vote no against anything. And I can't believe that that's the right way to be. There ought to be some no's and checks and balances and stuff like that. Mr. Corrales was really good at that. He voted the same way as the rest of the council for most of the things, but every now and again he had to stand up against what they were wanting to vote for, and one of those things being the hotel that came to Midland. That was the catalyst for me kind of running. I was like, that's ridiculous that the taxpayers are having to fund this hotel that really no citizen wanted, so just the financial accountability there that I think I could bring to it.
Now, outside of politics, you're currently running an e-commerce business, and a father of 3 children too. So talk a little bit about how it may be difficult to balance that life between being a parent, running a business, and possibly being on city council. And if so, how are you going to handle those responsibilities?
So, and that was one of the catalysts for me running right now. My youngest son is graduating from Legacy this year, and so I'll be done with that portion of my life. I do work for the church, and so I have a lot of leeway as far as time as that is concerned there. And my e-commerce business takes 10, 15 hours a week, so that it felt like all these things just coalesced into the right time for me to run. So my church family and my community that I'm involved in is really open to me running, and I have a lot of leeway to take care of the city the way it needs to.
You kind of touched on this before, but we had a viewer ask us saying that they think the city is almost feeling like it's lawless or slipping into a lack of law and order. And being that you're a potential candidate here, and should you win the election, what would you do for, let's say, restoring the law and order that maybe some folks believe isn't really there right now?
Yeah, so that law and order, again, is a tough situation because of the lack of police officers. I'm open to see what actually can be done. A lot of people just want to throw money at the issue, and if that was the issue, then that's fine. Let's do that. But I'm not convinced that that's the problem. It's just a shortage of people wanting to be police officers. I don't know why anybody would want that job right now. So maybe it looks like code enforcement officers or something like that. Like ramp that up and let the actual police officers worry about the more serious crimes, I guess, and let other people do tickets and that kind of thing. We do some of that, with animal enforcement and things like that, but maybe that needs to be looked at as an alternative to just a gun-toting police officer.
Another issue that kind of touts the city is road work. You are always seeing road work projects being done, and there's things going on right now. So any plans to address the road work issues, or maybe to speed up the projects that the citizens are having to wait through and kind of navigate traffic around?
Yeah, so that is a problem in Midland. I think people don't mind the roads being closed as long as they're being fixed, but everybody is tired of, you could pass by a construction site for weeks and weeks and never see anybody on hand, and that's a problem. And to me, that seems to be a lack of planning on the city's part. Where I work on 8th Street, there's they just redid all that with concrete and everything, and they tore it up and repaved it 3 different times because they were doing plumbing and everything. And that just seems like a waste of money, one, and a waste of time and all that kind of stuff, and frustration for the citizens. I know the road bond is ending this year. It's completing what we passed a few years ago. I said I didn't like debt earlier, but perhaps there's a time for another road bond. I think doing concrete on the major streets is the way to go, but there's something that can be done to speed up the process, because TxDOT doesn't have these problems. They're redoing the Andrews Highway Loop 250 intersection, and you actually see progress on it, where I've seen the same street tore up for months and months and months. And so to me, it's just a planning and organization issue.
We're talking about entertainment here. A lot of families say they don't want to see any more bars. There's a lot of bars in Midland. What ideas do you have to maybe increase the quality of life in Midland, and let's say move away from the restaurant and bar scene to maybe something like the zoo that's coming, or anything that might make families really get attracted to going out and staying here?
Yeah, for me that's a touchy issue, because if you're willing to open a business, then you ought to be able to open the business. The closing in Ranchland is a problem, that's been on everybody's minds here lately with MISD and all that kind of stuff. And so that kind of struck people hard. I don't really know what exactly can be done about that, other than just inviting people to open those type of things with the zoo and everything. And even that deconstruction of that golf course that was there in Nueva Vista was a problem for a lot of people, and I understand that. But I think we have some pretty good things for children to do. Maybe we need a few more, but it's touchy when you're trying to figure out who should be in business and who shouldn't be in business.
Yeah, understood. Mm-hmm. Now, you've been in Midland for so long, but is there one big issue that you might have seen from previous council members or leaders in general that you said, well, I need to maybe clean that up, or we as a council need to come together and fix that? Is there anything that you can think of right now that kind of sticks out?
Yeah, so again, the planning is an issue. as far as getting everybody together on the same page, all these different departments working together. And also the fact that we have city council meetings at 10 o'clock in the morning, it seems to be a problem. You know, if you wanted to go to a city council meeting and you wanted to express your opinion about something, then you have to take a half day off of work or a full day in some instances. And so maybe moving the city council meetings back later in the day, 4, 5, or 6 or something like that, to give the citizens an opportunity to come and speak their mind. I think a lot of citizens were really hurt about the Santa Rita Hotel because it seemed like that just came out of nowhere and nobody, you know, if you're paying attention, you knew about it, but it did kind of spring on a lot of citizens, and that left a bad taste in their mouth. So maybe if more citizens were able to attend those meetings, everyone wouldn't be so upset.
Now, for someone that hasn't visited Midland before and they come here for the first time, being that you're a longtime resident, is there one thing that you really love about the city that's your favorite that you tell them, or what kind of stands out for you being a longtime Midland resident that you tell that stranger this is the place to be?
Yes, sir. So Midland is a friendly city. As I spoke earlier, that with the oil field, you know, we have people coming in and out all the time, but it still really is a friendly place to be. The customer service and things like that can need a little help, you know, but the citizens of Midland seem to care about their city, and I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And to sum it all up, final words you'd like to say to the community and folks getting ready for this special election to cast their ballots to decide for that Midland City Council seat. Anything you'd like to just sum up here to viewers in the audience that are going to be watching this?
Yes, sir. So I'd say get out and vote. You know, that's, you know, even if you don't vote for me, get out and vote for somebody. You know, the last election, you know, I think they had like 12% people participate in the primary election. And if you're griping and complaining, that's one thing, but they're guesstimating there's going to be about 2,000 votes, 2,000 or 3,000 votes for this thing. And these are the people that are running your city, you know, so you ought to care about it, you know. And this is going to be on a Saturday election, which is already kind of weird, you know, weird for people. There is early voting, but find somebody to vote for. Go out and find out who all 5 of us are, and figure out and do your service as a citizen of Midland.
All right, again, in early voting for the special election, that starts April 22nd through the 26th, then again on April 29th and 30th. The special election will take place on May 4th. We'll have interviews with other candidates like that Mr. Roberts will be running against, and you can find those on our website, newswest9.com, our YouTube page, our streaming platform 9+. That is available for you on Roku, Amazon, Fire Stick, and Apple TV+. Mr. Ben Roberts, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Good luck during the election. We'll be following it closely.
Appreciate you.